can't win them all. How about those Philadelphia Eagles, though? Eye of the Tiger, man, a focused team, just like every one of your people, right? So today, we are here. After you pass around the silent auction, we've got plenty of show promos this week as well, because we know, and you know, the IRE is a wonderful opportunity to purchase equipment at significant reduction costs. So we have great opportunities, and all of our show promos are available at all of the kiosks around, and they'll be going on for days and weeks after. Do you have that finished up? Thank you. Excuse me. So the clipboard for the silent auction for the Melvin Kruger will be back over on the stand, and I will ask one of my gentlemen, thank you, Pat, to put that back on our stand there. So let's get started. Show promos, faster, better, and easier. Here we are. Isn't this great? Dan Genovese, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. We're going to start today by talking about roof drains. Roof drains can be an opportunity for a good experience, but they can also cause you a lot of headaches. Well, we want to make sure that every time you address rooftop drains, you're doing it in a way that is faster, better, and easier than you are today. Dan G's here to talk about two different opportunities. Take it away, my friend.
All right, very good. Thank you, Dave. Yes, my name is Dan Genovese. I'm a product manager at OMG. I'm not a Patriots fan, so let's get that out of the way. All right, so we're going to talk about roof drains, and we're going to talk about specifically re-roofing applications, right? Because that's where it all counts, re-roofing. That's where it is today. And we know you have a choice. You can do one of three things. We know that you generally like to rework a drain. Sometimes you have this to deal with, a busted strainer or a busted clamping ring. It's not always as easy as it sounds, okay? So you got busted components, you got to run down to the plumbing supply store, you got to buy all those components. And at the end of the day, when you rework, it's going to take you 2 hours to rework a drain. We know this. We've studied this. We've been with contractors, and we know that's the case. 2 hours to properly rework it, and to make it, get it up to snuff, so to say. So that's option one. Option two is you're going to call a plumber to completely replace the drain. You know, coordinating with a plumber's time is never easy. Their costs are through the roof, so to say, and you know, it's going to disrupt what's going on in the building. So it's never good for your building owners and your clients. So, and of course, the third option is a retrofit roof drain. All right, but you want a retrofit roof drain that performs just as well as your traditional roof drain. All right, and you also want something so simple, because as Dave said, your biggest problem today is labor. Qualified labor, any labor, just to get people on the roof to do the work. So you got to make it simple, and you got to make it perform. So here you have the OMG Speed Type drain, and this particular version has TPO coating, so you can heat weld the membrane. It also comes with a PVC coating, or it also comes with the traditional style clamping. It is so simple. You just take it out of the box, it's ready to go. The seal's on the base of the drain stem. You clear out your interior pipe, you slide it down the meter, and you tighten it up at the top. And what's so simple about this is it's one expansion point. One ring expands the drain perfectly every time. So you don't have to worry about your crew messing it up.
What about the tools you need to do that work, Dan?
Well, I'm using the tool. I'm using my hands. So that's the only tool you need. Traditionally, you might need a long screwdriver with the Hercules, and this is sort of like a new and improved Hercules. Same strainer, same clamping ring normally, same spun aluminum drain body. So that's the simple thing. The high performance part of this drain is the vortex breaker. When you have water coming to a drain, it's going to come to the drain, and during these microburst storms, water's going to build and build and build. And what happens? A vortex develops, and that's what makes it go slow. But water's going to keep coming. You're going to have all this weight around the drain. Eventually, it's going to collapse the drain. The water's going to go down the drain so fast, you're going to have issues in the pipes. But it's going to build and build and build, and then it's going to build up again. So this is a vortex breaker. What happens is water comes to the drain and goes straight down. Simple as that. In fact, this has been tested independently to flow just as good, if not better, than your traditional cast iron drains. That's how this technology works. It's very simple, and it works. No question about it. So, you have a retrofit roof drain that provides you high performance, and it's simple for your crews. No question about it. All right? So that's the Speed Type drain. As I said before, it does come with your traditional clamping ring style and your PVC or TPO coated drain. Now, you also have today the Hercules drain, the largest selling retrofit roof drain today in the industry. Hands down, no question about it. And we thank you for that, okay? So if you don't have any problems with this, there's no concerns, great. You have the Hercules, okay? That's the biggest selling drain. Now, if there's concerns about flow capacity, you always get that, well, what's the flow capacity because you're going inside of an existing drain? If that's a concern, it's never been a concern normally. But if there is a concern, we have now developed, we've taken the vortex breaker technology and put it into the vortex breaker strainer. So now the Hercules is also available with the vortex breaker built into it. So this drain with the vortex breaker strainer will flow 2.5 times more, greater capacity than the traditional Hercules. So you just improve the flow capacity of this drain. The nice thing is, if you've installed hundreds of these throughout the years, there's an opportunity for your service crews now to go back up on that roof with the Hercules drain and talk to your building owner and say, hey, we have new technology that wasn't available a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, that we can upgrade your roof drain system by simply taking the old screws out, putting the new screws on, and tightening this in, good to go. 2.5 times greater flow performance. Great money maker for your service crews. So that's the Hercules drain with the vortex breaker and the speed type drain. And of course the regular Hercules drain is still available too. So definitely very simple, very easy. Any questions? All right, very good. Excellent.
Faster, better, and easier drains. Life gets better. If you'd like to have Chase move our drains out of the way, we're going to our friend move. All right, so the next part of the roof we're going to move to is the parapet wall with OMG Edge Systems fascia and coping products. I'm going to have Pat O'Connor, our product manager for our Edge Systems product line. Pat, say hello. So when it comes to edge metal, OMG Edge Systems, as many of you may or may not know, has got the largest line of commercial fascia and coping products with the new FM4435 approval rating assigned to all of them. So our Edge Systems product line fits perfectly into this year's theme of faster, better, and easier. When you install OMG Edge Systems coping products, your crews will be doing just that. They'll be installing this product quicker than they can conventional edge metal products, offering a better product design, and we'll review why, and also making it much easier on the crew. So the first part that we start on the installing any edge metal is putting in a retainer clip. And with OMG Edge Systems, we make that as easy as possible by having it be a self-leveling clip. There's no more need to measure down the side of a roof to figure out how much face I need to expose on my retainer. Everything is self-leveling from OMG Edge Systems. One more nice factor also is pre-punched holes. All of our retainer clips come with pre-punched holes, so any roofer, regardless of skill set, can be instructed to put a universal fastener into every single hole that you see on a retainer clip in order to install this product correctly. So we've taken a lot of the guesswork out by giving you pre-punched holes. And we have universal fasteners. Here's one on the floor. Boy, I'm working with brick. Oh no, I showed up at the job site and it's steel. Oh, I think I'm going into steel, and it's just the opposite. I show up and I'm going into masonry. We have offered a universal fastener for all three of those building material types, so that regardless of what you're using, you know that you have the proper fastener to go in the proper spacing on a self-leveling queue. Faster, better, easier. Are we ready? See if he's into it. Dig that. Cheerleading, perhaps? Was it pep squad? No, something? So Patrick's already installed the first retainer clip. This would come on incremental spacing. And the other nice thing, I'll allow Pat to point it out, is the actual splice plates themselves. No adhesives required. Patrick?
The splice plate just sits on top of that clip. It's one things that's creating pressure up under that cap. Any water that's coming in is directed down back. No tape, no other sealants required. So again, stuck on the roof, less materials to work with, faster installation.
There you go, faster, better, and easier. So once we get our splice plates put in position, these guys are getting ready to simulate, because taking apart this product is extremely difficult and a little bit dangerous. So we're gonna snap it along the front, there's the simplicity, and perma-snap. Installation couldn't get any easier. Again, clean, no additional sealants required, self-leveling cleats, everything where it needs to be, universal fasteners to keep code, everything compliant. Perma-snap, faster, better, easier. OMG Edge Systems. You place a first order for this product with OMG, you're gonna get 20% off that order. So go find a 1 million square foot roof, bid the fascia on it, and come back and we'll talk. And you'll get 20% off that first order. Won't that be a successful job? Again, like all of the OMG products, you're gonna get OMG sales force, technical sales reps on the roofs with your crew training you on how easy this product line. So we won't leave you hanging. So perma-snap coping. Now we come to a fun part of the presentation. We're going to talk about the hard work of actually installing insulation and membrane. And the first tool that's going to begin the work is going to be something called the Rhino Track tool. We all know, and a lot of my roofing friends tell me, one of the biggest challenges for me is competing for those larger jobs with my smaller crew sizes, because this part of the job kills me every time. This is the most labor-intensive part of the project. What can we do as professionals, that's us, OMG, to help you as roofers do this part of the job What 3 words? Faster, better, and easier. So the AccuTrack, the AccuSeam, and what you see in front of you, the RhinoTrack system, is designed to do just that. Dan G's back at it to show us how easy this tool is to use. Take it away, Dan.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, it's extremely easy, and it's also extremely important to use this tool for Rhino Bond applications. Why? Because you can set the depth that you've driven the screw at, and it'll be at that depth all day long, whether it's 7 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock at night. It's always going to be the same depth. You don't have to worry about overdriving and underdriving constantly, because that goes on all day long. So what you do, first, drop a screw down the feeder tube, drive it in, check it, make sure that it's not loose, it's not overdriving or underdriven, and now you're good to go. So you put the motor on, you keep it on, drop a screw down the feeder tube, and you go to town. So you notice one person putting in a screw and a plate. Normally that's the job of 2 people. One person ahead dropping a plate and the other person behind driving the screw. So now it's one person. So what can you do with that extra laborer? Well, you can have them do something else on the job or give them a RhinoTrack tool. So now you've got 2 people installing screws and plates as opposed to 4. So there's more hands doing other things on that roof. There are contractors who will double their production just because of this tool. That's less hands doing wasted work, just dropping a plate, dropping a plate, dropping a plate. So that's the productivity gains. And of course, you just saw how well it was perfectly driven every time. Whether it's 95 degrees on a roof or 20 degrees on a roof, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 7 in the morning. It's going to be perfect every time. And you need that perfectly driven screw for your best performance of Rhino.
And again, driving a 6-inch screw by hand is a difficult thing. It takes a lot of dexterity, possibly years of really good experience to get really productive. Having a new crew member actually be productive and contributing significantly to your squares per day goals is a win. It's a big win. That's what the RhinoTrack brings to the system. Right? Anybody have any questions?
Yes, sir.
How does it work for re-roofs? If you're retrofitting over top of another, it's not always the same depth?
The question is, how does it work for re-roofs? You can adjust it so the next job, you drive a screw to test it, and you're good to go. Once you set it. Yeah, it's a very simple adjustment right here in the tool. It says tighter. You can go down a little bit deeper, or if you want to bring it up a little bit. So I suggest you check it every morning. So, good question. All right, anything else? All right, take it away, Dave.
So bam, now we have fewer crew members installing more and more aboard, keeping you competitive on each and every job you're working at. Life got better there. Now it's time to talk a little bit about this attachment method known as Rhino Bond. Before Rhino Bond, the roofers had 2 predominant ways to attach their roof systems. You could either fully adhere it or glue it, or you could mechanically attach it using screws and plates in the seams. Mechanical attachment, in-seam attachment it was known as. It required a lot of fasteners, a lot of labor. It required something known as half sheets, as we all know, in the corners and the perimeters in order to secure those roof areas. Those half sheets added a lot of roof penetrating seam plates and a lot of seaming behind. OMG said about 20 years ago, stop everything. We've got to figure out a way to do this faster, better, and easier than we are today. Rhino Bond, an electromagnetic induction fastening system. It's a mechanical form of attachment, but it's got a really, really innovative fastener. This is the Rhino Bond plate. This plate has a dual personality. It functions as a primary insulation attachment fastener, as you see in front of you here, but the specialized adhesive, this is a TPO plate, this specialized adhesive, when heated within a Rhino Bond induction tool, will activate and literally weld itself or bond itself to the underside of your thermoplastic membrane. So now, rather than attaching your membrane in the seams only, leaving all of that membrane in between the seams unsupported, we're attaching to the field. So it's a mechanical form of attachment, but it's point-affixed membrane attachment as opposed to the in-seam. Huge advantage. One fastener doing the job of 2 uses up to 40% fewer fasteners across the same roof surface. That's less roofing materials to tote, less to install, and less roof deck penetrations. Every one of those deck penetrations, particularly on the re-roof work that we do, has a chance of hitting some underlying utility that somebody mounted to the underside of that steel deck. Imagine saying to a customer, I'm going to re-roof your 1,000 square foot factory with 1,500 fewer deck penetrations. That's a productivity and a performance gain. productivity and performance gain. I'm going to install that same roof surface without any of the half sheets in the corners and the perimeters, wiping out miles on big roofs of seaming in the very corners and the perimeters of the roof. So Rhino Bond attaches insulation and membrane with the same plate. The roof system manufacturers in the room that have FM approvals with the system will issue each and every roofer for each and every job the prescriptive fastening pattern for the Rhino Bond plates. You're going to put X number into the field, X plus into the perimeter areas, and then X plus plus into those corner areas that are most sensitive to wind uplift. So now you can roll full-size membrane into all corners of your roof, and by Rhino Bond welding to that ascending density of fasteners in all 3 roof zones, you've accommodated added wind uplift. Is that pretty accurate? It's a definite, easier way, faster way, and better way to roof. I said it in the wrong order that time. Did anybody catch that? Sandy got it. Sorry about that. So what we've got here now is the first challenge. After Dan G convinced you that the Rhino track is the way to go, roofers get here and they're like, I love your Rhino Bond system, Dave, but something's happening all of a sudden. They cover the job, thank you, with the membrane. How do I find those plates? Well, there used to be all kinds of ways. Roofers will never let anything go without trying to figure out a way to do it. Who's used the squeegee? All right, push down, like swabbing the decks on the USS destroyers, leaving squeegee scuffs on top of the plates. Who's used their boots to drag it and try to find it? As the product manager for this, it was embarrassing to see the wasted labor to actually find these plates so that then a Rhino Bond welder could come and quickly weld all those plates. So I came up with a really cool tool. It's called the Rhino Bond plate marker. It's a simple, power cord-free tool. Imagine that, something that doesn't require any power. Simple red cart with a marking barrel in between here. Rare earth neodymium magnets are in this middle part, so every time this tool passes over a metal plate, boom, that marking barrel is going to come down on its springs, and it's going to rotate and leave a mark with a standard blue construction crayon, and the kind that you buy in all of the home centers. 2 of them in each side. So what happens now, the roofer assembles the tool in the morning, they advance their membrane out, and simply advance the tool down a row of plates in either direction, and it's leaving, oops, we slid off the side there. Went off the deep end there. Excuse me. You can now see, instead of using, who's used a squeegee? Someone's got to tell me this is easier than a squeegee. We have a lay flat handle to get underneath all of your utility pipes that may be on the roof. Stands up to get out of the way. So now that we've got the plates clearly marked, that helps answer that question. How do I know my guys are going to find all those plates and weld them? And a lot of architects and specifiers and roof designers will ask that same important question. How do I find those plates? OMG's designed a tool so that my roofers can clearly mark these plates. These blue construction crayon marks disappear, fade with normal weathering in 4 to 6 weeks, and there's been absolutely no marring to the top side, the money side of that beautiful thermoplastic membrane. Also, another design feature is metal bars left and right. Every time this tool is pushed across the roof, any metal fines that may be on top side of the membrane are going to be attracted to those magnets, getting them off the roof. That's a good thing. So when it comes to finding, clearly marking Rhino Bond plates, we just made it faster, better, and easier with the Rhino Bond plate marker. So that's that. So now that we've clearly, another nice thing they're doing is from day to day. They'll mark plates in the afternoon, and then in the morning, somebody that wasn't even on that job site that day can be instructed to go start welding blue marks on the roof. And by 7:15, they're up and productive. So this is helping crews progress from one day to the next, all that kind of good stuff. Any questions on the plate marking tool? Beautiful. So now it's time to get to, can you help me, my man? Right there. Now it's time to heat up each one of these plates and do the actual welding. And can you prepare my magnets? Thank you. This is the simple Rhino Bond induction stand-up tool. We also have a hand welder tool we'll get to next. This tool is nothing more than an induction cooktop upside down. Anybody have an induction cooktop in the kitchen? A couple of us? Cool. Electromagnetic current does 2 things to metal. It heats it very quickly, and it heats it very precisely. So there's all sorts of industries that use induction in their manufacturing space to do just that, heat metal parts quickly and precisely. That's why the culinary arts loves it. You can heat your cooking implement to 110 degrees to melt that chocolate fondue, and it'll stay there all night long. So we've harnessed the power of induction energy to do nothing more than heat one of these plates. Activate that adhesive, attract it with a powerful magnet, forming a long-lasting bond between the underside of that thermoplastic membrane and the top of that Rhino Bond plate in 5 seconds. So the tool is very simple to use, and this is also a part of the roofing process that somebody that you literally hired this morning, after a couple hours of training with our crew, can become a master Rhino Bond welder. because nothing could be easier. After they calibrate the tool, they simply plug it into a good, reliable generator. Bring my magnets over here if you don't mind, Chase. The power cord. All you do is center the tool over that red dot over the plate and push the button. In 5 seconds, that is heating that plate up to 550 degrees Fahrenheit. It's activating and liquefying that adhesive. Boom, in 5 seconds, the tool beep's done. A magnetic heating clamp goes over that plate because we know thermoplastic needs what two things in order to weld? Heat and pressure. I've heated it with the induction tool. I'm applying pressure with a magnetic clamp, pushing that membrane tight down to the plate. And now what we got going under here is the slow dissipation of that heat, turning that liquid adhesive back into a solid, but only this time it's knitted itself molecularly with the underside of that thermoplastic membrane. So a gold plate is used for TPO membranes, a black plate is used for PVC membranes, and they are different adhesives. They are molecularly compatible to that thermoplastic membrane. You're forming a long-lasting bond. So I'll show you again. How easy could it be? You always want to keep the magnets clean, right? You always want to be wiping the magnets free of any debris prior to placing it down. And these guys work just like they do cutting their lawn on a Saturday afternoon. One row of plates after the other. It's beautiful, relaxing work. Some guys will work with their headsets on and just become productive overnight. One more for the crowd. The tool comes with 6 magnets. So once you've attached all of your field sheets, all of your perimeter sheets, and all of your corner sheets using the same technology with no half sheets, it's now time to consider the vertical surfaces of the roof. Or perhaps those surfaces underneath rooftop appliances, air conditioning units, lab spaces and biotech spaces that have HEPA filtration ductwork all over the roof surface. I'm sure some of you have been on some of these labs where there's more ductwork than there is roof. How can I attach a roof system to a roof with that kind of anatomy? Well, you use the induction system. You use the stand-up tool in those areas where you'll have room to use that tool, and then look what we came up with. We heard the market, we're like, hey, I understand, you don't want to bring up a 5-gallon bucket of glue to get under 2 units. That's added work, potential mess, the whole 9 yards. Can I use Rhino under the 3 units? Dave, do something for me. And then the same thing, those ductworks and all that conduit that's up on roof. Help me. Here we go, folks. The Rhino Bond hand welder. The industry's first standalone induction welder used for anywhere on the roof you can go. It's everything you have in the full tool shrunk down into a little mini-me, we call it. Instead of the induction coil being in the entire part of the tool, the hand welder has the induction part in the toe here. And we give the roofer a little recessed or chamfered front toe here so that they know when they've engaged the tool on the plate. So soon, the industry is getting ready, and I don't know if there's anybody that has anything to say to that in the crowd. The industry is getting ready to release to you some parapet wall patterns, some vertical wall patterns. Again, fastening patterns never come from us. Our guys are here to train you on the equipment. When it comes to the prescriptive fastening patterns, they always come from the roof system manufacturers themselves, job by job. Okay, that's an important note to make. So, in the weeks and months to come, you should be seeing plenty of press releases from all those folks in the room here offering their ideas and their approved details for the wall. So we all know how simple it can be. Now with Rhino Bond, we're taking full-size field sheets any way across the roof, right up to the parapet wall. A lot of the system manufacturers have a wonderful perimeter tie-in treatment where you come 3.5 inches in from the angle change with on-center spacing around the whole perimeter of the roof, using Rhino Bond to be that one last perimeter tie-in. And now, with this wall detail, you can crease that field sheet and wrap it right up onto a parapet wall, one time I call it. No more need to counter flash parapet wall material. You have literally taken a monolithic piece of thermoplastic membrane from a parapet vertical surface onto the field, draining right to where you need it to. So it's got all sorts of advantages for that, but obviously the portability to get under tight spaces is magnificent. Anything 8 inches or taller, the roof's capable to get under. So that leaves you a lot of flexibility on those roofs, so use it as a competitive advantage. Most roofers are going to run from those roofs. You have a solution for tight spaces now. Yes, sir? Sure does, even a little faster because this is a more concentrated coil. We'll show you how easy the tool works. It's a simple plug-in tool. Instead of having up-down arrow buttons, you have a dial to calibrate the tool simply in the morning and a simple 1 button. The tool can be used by a rookie. Okay, so we want to keep everything faster, simpler, better. We're going to advance our membrane over with a little help from my friend. Let me get my stuff out of my way. So you will have some sort of a pattern of plates on the walls. We will put it down. What the roofers are doing is using the actual shorty magnets as clamps, because remember this will be coming up because you can't just tell membrane to stay. It's not like the pet rocks back in the 70s. Nobody knows what that is. So they'll use these as Little clamps to hold it, right? Who's got my power cord? There it is. And we simply plug in our tool. You can see the green lights illuminating, letting you know that there's adequate power to the tool. Same power requirements for the Rhino Bond stand-up tool as is for the hand welder. A 5,000 watt generator in good working order. 220 amp grounded circuits can power 2 of these pieces of equipment. They're power hogs. They're using a lot of wattage in a very short amount of time. So now that you have your Rhino plates on the wall, you've got your membrane over the plates, you've got them, the locations marked. The roofer does nothing more simply than line the tool up. And can you hear it? That handle's vibrating because at times the roofer's reaching for another magnet. As soon as it's finished, it stops vibrating and the green light comes back and on to the next plate they go. And what they usually have is one guy doing the the welding, and another guy advancing 5 magnets right in front of the welder. And people are screaming down the walls with the Rhino Bond hand welder. So now we have a faster, better, and easier way for you to attach your membrane in the field, in the perimeters, and in the corners without half sheets, and now up onto the vertical surfaces. Guess what, folks? Life just got better for all of us, huh? Any questions on this? Yes? Good question. Both systems we have the same power cord requirement. Thank you for asking, Sandy. It's a 12 gauge power cord, no longer than 100 foot. Okay, so we don't want you putting 16 gaugers out there. 10 gauge power cord's even better, but at least 12 gauge 100 foot max for both tools. Thanks. Yes. Good question. The stand-up tool comes with 6 magnets, so by the time you finish 6 successive welds, you're able to come down to the next row and begin. That's why we give you 6. It's about 45-second wait time. But remember, not all that wait time is to do the magic of the weld. We also have to allow this to cool down enough so that it functions as a heat sink when placed over the next hot plate. So it's a little combo time, so to speak. But that's why you're given the 6 of them with the tool. Who hasn't signed up for our Melvin Kruger thing yet? Come on now, get your name on the list. That concludes all of our product demos. You're more than welcome to come up and continue to ask questions, get hands-on with any of the systems, but hopefully we're sending you out of here a little bit faster, a little bit better, just a little bit easier. If you can do that, we're going to be happy campers. Thanks for showing up. Have a good time, and everybody be safe here in New Orleans.